Welcome to Off Brand by CocoKind. I'm Priscilla Tsai, CocoKind's founder and CEO, and each week I get into the real, unfiltered side of building a brand alongside our community and creating substantive beauty products. We don't believe in trying to be anyone but ourselves, and we don't think you should either. So come along as we get real and imperfect, go deeper on topics most beauty companies won't, and get a bit off brand. Hi everyone, welcome back to Off Brand by CocoKind. We are so back. Thank you all for the patience as I've taken a couple weeks off of the podcast because honestly, we've just had the most positively insane past 6 weeks. Really, the beginning of this year has just been so fun. We've been working so hard for this exact moment. So I just needed a couple weeks because just been so overwhelmed with like excitement, but also work and just being fully committed to the day-to-day for my team and for our launches and everything we've been doing in between. There's just been a lot happening. So really appreciate the patience of just getting this podcast out. And I did want to say that I think that going forward, I'm going to use our podcast as like really kind of like markers of specific moments for us. So think about it as if like we do a big campaign or we do a big launch or something big happened to us, like that's when I want to come on the podcast. And today I just wanted to do a little bit of a solo episode just to catch up because, oh my gosh, we've had so much happening. Like I can't even process everything that's been going on. We tend to work in these like 12-month cycles. So we're always working on the next 12 months. So believe it or not, we are already working on like February 2027 right now. That's the whole company in terms of what we're doing, what products we're developing, how we're launching them, any new like retail activations, what retail shelves look like at that point. So my mind is like so messed up because I'm just constantly looking at the next year and everything that has happened now. Of course, we work on the immediate like launches and everything, and we have so much anticipation and buildup because we've literally been dreaming it up for a year, so, or even longer at some point. So wow, we had really kicked off the year with a bang with our Milky Soft Cleanser. And that was so cool because what we did was we did this like whole leak of the product in December and we sent it to like a couple hundred of you, people who are in our community, really close, like friendlies, regardless of the following size really. And we had people start to try this product. And so that was so fun to see. And then it launched in the very beginning of the year. And I think what was so cool about this product is just like, I have so much to say about it. Like we have so much to talk about when it comes to Milky Soft. I think it's such an amazing story when it comes to like the true behind the scenes product development of it all. And I know I talked about it more with Mimi and Maria on my last podcast episode. So if you're curious of just like diving into the PD of it and like all the twists and turns we took on that journey of creating Milky Soft, go to that last episode. But it's one of my favorite products right now to talk about because I feel like cleansers are so misunderstood in so many ways, and product developers take so many different like perspectives when it comes to cleansers that there's a lot to explain to customers to make sure you know what you're paying for, you know how to use it. Like even people never talk about how to use a cleanser, like never talk about it. But I posted a video the other day about how you can use a cleanser for 20 seconds or you can use a cleanser for a minute, and it could completely make or break your experience. So I see some people who maybe they're wearing a heavy day of makeup, and if you only rinse your face for like 10 seconds, it might not actually rinse off all the makeup. At the same time, I see people who are wearing virtually no makeup and are rinsing and massaging the cleanser on their face for like a minute. And that can totally change your after feel of your skin and your skin barrier actually. So there is a little bit of education necessary on how to use cleansers, especially since ours is a face and body cleanser, which was like even though felt like it was not going to happen at times and it was going to be way too expensive in this bottle, we made it happen. But because of that, we also had to be mindful of like, it's not a one size fits all thing. It's not like, oh, you use a pump every single time you use it, no matter what. No, if you use it on your face, you're going to use less. If you use it on your body, you're going to use more, right? And, you have to kind of figure out what works for you, but it's not like a one rule situation when it comes to cleanser. So anyways, I'm having so much fun just like breaking down everything with Milky Soft. And it's been really awesome to see just the perception to this product because it's become one of our top sellers. We just launched it in stores and it has become a true top seller for us. I think it was number 2 right after the mist at Target last week. And it's really high up there at Ulta right now. I think like number 1 basically, or maybe number 2 after Electrolyte Water Cream, but it's also like not even fully in stores at Ulta yet. So I think it's really, really doing well, which is so awesome to see. And so then we went into really right away all of the OLIPOP of it all. And I feel so much relief because all of our secrets are finally out there. Holy shit. Like we had so many secrets. It killed me. Like I'm so bad at keeping secrets, as you all know here, especially those listening on this podcast, that I'm really bad at keeping secrets. So you can imagine how difficult it was for me in like May and June of last year when I'm talking about our lip balms to not let people know that we were doing this with OLIPOP because we were getting questions about like, are you ever going to create flavors in your lip balms? And I basically said like, yes, like it is in our future. We're working on really exciting things, but like I never obviously spoiled the whole extent of exactly what we were working on. Even brand trips, like we announced that we were doing our OLIPOP brand trip back in November or December, actually. So just 2 months ago. But that we've been working on since May. And so even before we went to Miami, we already knew we were doing a brand trip with OLIPOP. In New York, we knew that we were announcing our brand trip to OLIPOP very soon. And so it's just been a buildup of so many freaking secrets. And I'm so happy are finally out there because I feel like I've been like, my mind has been doing like Jedi mind tricks, trying to figure out how do I not spill secrets, because I know the reason why is because like, this is truly something that I felt like a collab like this is iconic. It was so fun. It made so much sense for us. But it was something that we really wanted to be a surprise. And I totally respected my team's like, just kind of desire to have it truly be a surprise that gets the full hype at launch when you're getting so much of this collab in different ways. You're seeing it leaked in stores. You're seeing it pop up in, some of the brand trip content. And then all of a sudden you see this like, big launch. So we wanted it to really have that like hyped moment. So there's just too much work involved from every single person on my team and on OLIPOP's team to have this be spoiled. And we're all looking so forward to like the launch day and the hype that we wanted to create that week. So it was truly one of the hardest things I've done because I talk to our customers on the podcast, on TikTok, on lives, like all the time. And so to not be able to like share this really, really huge thing that we're working on was just, honestly, it was so hard for me. So I'm just so happy that it's out. So that we first announced our brand trip, that was in December. Then we chose our brand trip people. And then it started to leak early because Ulta went a little bit early on our OLIPOP lip balms. Those started popping up in stores. And so it was like the weekend that TikTok was actually down. I don't know if you remember that, where like TikTok was having some technical issues. So of course that happened to us, right? But that right before that happened, a couple of customers actually put it on TikTok that they found these lip balms in stores and they were like, what is this? Like, why have I not, what is happening here? And those videos went a little bit viral. And then TikTok went down a little bit. And then we basically and there's actually one day where the OLIPOP lip balm showed up on the Ulta website. And that was like before that we were supposed to have them launch. And then finally Sunday, I think it was the 23rd or something like that, we actually fully showed up in stores. And then we were able to finally launched the products, I think the Thursday after that. And that was always the plan that we had with the OLIPOP team, which was right before the brand trip. So then we went on a brand trip. My final surprise was that we decided to take 8 of our customers that were on the brand trip with us to this actual big game. For legal reasons, I'm not allowed to say the blank bowl. So that's why you keep seeing us and hearing us say the big game everywhere, is because we're not actually able to use that term because it's like an own trademark from the NFL, just FYI, so you know. So we were taking them to the big game, and that moment was like very much one of like the best highlights that I've had. Right when the customers got to their hotel room, they actually got an agenda, and on this agenda, there was this big secret for Sunday afternoon. And I'm sitting here like, I think this is going to be very obvious what it is. So we have to work like double time to make sure they don't think we're actually going to the big game, because we really wanted it to be a surprise. Of course, Haley on the trip went on this whole investigative path to lead her to believe that we were going on the big game. But we were basically telling her, nope, we're going to an Ulta watch party. That's the big surprise, and there's going to be a special appearance there. And so we kind of successfully got around them thinking that we were going to this big game. And then finally on that Sunday, we first go to an Ulta store. We had them do a scavenger hunt through the store, clue by clue, as basically like going to different sections of the store where our OLIPOP lip balms live. They even got to do a little bit of like a shopping spree moment. And then the last clue said like this last surprise is too big to fit in the store, so go outside. As they went outside, we had a big bus that we took to the Ulta store. But when they were in the store, my team, they put up a sign on one side of the bus that says, we're going to the big game. So as they're waiting out there, you've probably seen all the videos. Then this bus rolls up and it says, you're going to the big game. I was supposed to like come running out right at that moment, but the door took forever to open. I underestimated how long it would take for that to happen. And then anyways, I pop out and I said, we're going to the big game with Steven from OLIPOP. And it was honestly one of the most fun moments that we've had. And we had just overall such an amazing time on the brand trip. I mean, we always do. And I want to get into that in a little bit and just kind of walk through all the work that the team did, because it's just so much work. And I just really want to honor that and, you know, talk about that experience of our overall brand trip. But overall, that was like the last bit of our final surprise. We are announcing this week, so it's going to be a couple days before this podcast comes out, that because of the success that we've had with the OLIPOP lip balms in just like 2 weeks, we are actually going to be keeping the OLIPOP lip balms for a full year, which is kind of maybe surprising or unprecedented, because I feel like a lot of times when companies do collaborations, it's for like a very short amount of time. It'll be like a limited release, or it'll be like 2 weeks or 1 month at the max. But we wanted to have customers be able to repurchase this. And it's been so fun to see the reception of these 3 lip balms and the flavors and the shades and everything. So we've worked with Ulta to actually keep these on the shelves for a full year. Now, that being said, of course, there's going to be moments where we're out of stock. Like I can already tell you right now, we are just like trying to chase production because we sold more than our expectations, which is absolutely wild. So we're trying to do our best to just like keep these on the shelf. So it's not like at all times you're going to see full inventory. I'm sure there are a lot of stores right now that basically are completely out, and it's going to take a little bit for them to get more inventory on the shelves. But we're going to work with Ulta. We're going to work with our manufacturer to really get these products out there. And the current belief is that we're going to have these in stock for a full year. So very excited to announce that. And I mean, just the whole thing overall has been so fun. There's so much also to, I think, explain as it relates to flavors and scents in lip balms. And there's so much, I think, to dig into there that wanted more time. I didn't want it to just be like a 2-week thing and it's in and it's out. Like, I want to explain to you like how we develop with flavors. I want to explain to you how we develop with scents. Like, I saw this TikTok the other day where someone was like, it's so weird because these smell like the flavors, but they don't taste like anything. And yeah, like taste is completely different than adding flavors. Like, just because something has a flavor in it does not mean it'll taste like that. And a lot of lip balms actually will add some sweetness. So it'd be like stevia, or some form of a sugar derivative to your lip balms. You're actually not getting like the taste of cherry cola or the taste of strawberry. You're getting the scent of strawberry, but the sweetness of an added like sugar derivative type of ingredient in the lip balm. And so it was really funny because I thought that, like, I don't know, it was just that I always never really thought that like people expected things to taste like strawberry vanilla, but I think it's because so many lip balms have that sweetener ingredients in there, that was just surprising to people. But that's just one example of like when there is a misconception, just a lot to explain and educate around ingredients, especially something like flavors or fragrances. Another example is like our cherry cola. We actually have fragrance in that. And a lot of times people would look at that and say like, oh my God, like this isn't good for sensitive skin. Like it has fragrance, whereas other ones have flavors. And that's actually not true, because when you use like natural flavors, you have to use a lot of ingredients that are actually can be sensitizing. So ingredients that we're specifically trying to avoid were like citrus oils and citrus derivatives, as well as spice. So like think like clove or cinnamon. And you can imagine that cherry cola, it uses so many of those notes, citrus and spice notes, to make that flavoring possible. And so we actually could not achieve that using the natural flavors alone, where we were actually able to achieve that using a fragrance that was allergen free. And so that was something that we decided, like, you know what, despite the misconception around fragrance, we're actually going to use this and just educate on it versus like kind of like managing something for the label, but not actually for like the sensitivity concern that we will have for our customers. So lots to dig into there, but I'm just excited because I now have a whole year to talk about it and a whole year to educate and talk about flavors and scents. And I mean, they're so fun that I think that people are just gravitating to it. I will say that working with the OLIPOP team has been so incredible. Like, it's really hard to do collaborations. I don't think people understand how hard it is. Like, you have to have companies that have like similar communities, but different, similar, like kind of like size of audience, similar type of like brand goals, brand values. And it just doesn't always match up, like there's, and timing, right? Like timing, everybody has their own calendar. Like I said, we're already working a year in advance. So sometimes when people like pitch me ideas that are like, a month away or 2 or 3 months away, I'm like, we are so far past that. Our budget is committed and we are working so far past that. Like my team, they are experts in planning so far advanced while executing things immediately. That is just the nature of this business and any beauty business really, or any consumer business. But getting teams to match up on timing of a collaboration when you're working so far in advance is also really, really unique, and it doesn't always happen. And, we've mentioned that we started working with OLIPOP in May of last year. So that's under a year. So that's actually like really tough for both companies to be like, we're going to have this major moment, less than a year away. So there was just a lot of work from both teams. Working with them has been so awesome, and being, kind of doing a collaboration with a very community first brand. That's so awesome. And like, I don't know, I know so many of you are so familiar with Coco Kind, and I don't know, I think a lot of you are really familiar with OLIPOP too, but for those who aren't, like if you just scroll on their socials, like you just see how they're so community forward too. Like last year they did this Amazon drop, and I think they did like 1,000 free PR mailers, or they were like 1 cent on Amazon free PR mailers. They constantly send their products to community, not because of following size, but just because they're a community first brand. They're constantly thinking about how do we prioritize customers. So anyways, it was just such a great fit for us to do not only a brand trip, but our 3 lip balms. And we're just thrilled with the results so far. It's been amazing. And just having it be very nostalgic lip balm flavors, sensitive skin friendly, like this is just our perfect entrance into flavored lip balms. So If you are on the OLIPOP team, we appreciate every single email and call that we had, because there were thousands literally, and weekly calls going back to whatever, the summer. And it's just been amazing. And if you're on the CocoKind team, like, this really should be a moment for us. This is a moment of reflection, of seeing that we can do something that's really hard and really amazing, right? And knowing that just a small company can do something this iconic is so awesome. And it really took so much work from every single person in the entire company. Really, it touched every single department. So I'm so, so proud of the work that we did and what we put out there in the world. So it's a major moment of celebration here. So let's talk about the brand trip a little bit. So that I just came off of the brand trip. It is Thursday and I got home on Sunday night, and I think the ladies got home on Monday. And the brand trip was also so iconic. We took 8 customers to Sonoma, and they thought that it was just like a Sonoma weekend. And like I said, we surprised them with the whole big game element. But we had so many other fun surprises. So let me just walk you through like kind of like what we did together. So, and I know we posted so much about that, and we're still going to post a lot about our brand trip, but let me just kind of voice it over here. So Friday, when people got in, we actually had to do a lot of setup in the rooms, and we always do that. The team works really hard on just like make sure we have everything month in advance, and then we're setting up each and every room. We had like so many small little touches, like we printed out photos of their like special photos of their loved ones, and we taped them to the like hotel room, like right above the fireplaces. Everybody had like their specific requests in terms of snacks they love. We had, of course, OLIPOP, of course, CocoKind. We had these slippers. We had this Pop Flex suit, which was so cute. It was like a little sweatsuit that said OLIPOP and CocoKind that the ladies wore all throughout the weekend, really. There's so many other fun things that we had in their rooms. We kind of just like the 4 of us that were on the CocoKind team, we just placed everything, and just everything worked out so smoothly, actually. And then we had these lanyards that basically we put the OLIPOP lip balms on, and when the customers arrived, I put them on as if it was like kind of like a lei when you're in Hawaii, or like a necklace or something. And so they got their OLIPOP lip balms, they got an OLIPOP after a long drive in. And then that first night we did a little bit of like a pizza party that was hosted with the hotel outdoors, and it's very yummy food. And we did a little bit of like decorating wine glasses for our next day, because we were going to a winery. We had s'mores, blankets. There was an appearance with Blurry, which was really fun, and the OLIPOP mascot. And then we also gave the ladies all of them the PR mailers. We had them come in almost like bottle service at a club. Like that was the vibe we were going for, Blurry and the OLIPOP mascot, or just kind of like walking in with like, I think literally we were playing All I Do Is Win. You probably didn't hear that in the TikTok videos that we had, but anyways, it was really hype. Then after that, we basically left to set up that night the gifting suite while the girls hung around and just kind of like relax because they had a long travel day. So we set up the gifting suite. We had so many amazing partner products. And if you're curious about those, we posted all and tagged each one of the brands. And I just want to thank all the brands because they really were so amazing and so aligned with us, and just overall doing this. Like, we are not sending this to people with millions of followers. And so the fact that they like still wanted to be a part of this gifting suite was really, really awesome. And it just shows you that they are really community forward too. And we had so many products ranging from like leave-in conditioner to jewelry to water bottles to socks to a hair straightener and curler. Of course, tons of CocoKind, OLIPOP, lip balms, charms, makeup, like so much fun things. And a suitcase, by the way, that was amazing. So we set that up, and that was like the first activity we did on Saturday morning. After that, we did a little bit of this, like what we called Peace Crafting Corner. And so we had this purse, and we basically sewed on the excess caps from our production onto them, and these really fun designs. I'm trying to have a different design for each brand trip. That's going to be really, really difficult as we continue on, but we'll see. Maybe I have to repeat some, but and I'm excited because we're actually putting one of those up for sale on our website. It's just literally one that I made myself. But anyways, we love the crafting corner. And then we went to a winery where we had lunch. We actually went to 2 wineries in the area because you're in Sonoma, of course you have to. And then after that, we had some time to chill, and then we went to a nice, beautiful dinner. Then we had a very early morning on Sunday. So first thing in the morning, Kathy and we went to the Ulta store to just set up everything. So like I said, the ladies took a bus to the Ulta store, and then we did this little reveal of our front of store display. Then we had the whole like scavenger hunt thing, and then they found out they were going to the big game. We then ate lunch on the bus, drove to the big game, which took like 2 hours or so. And then we went to the freaking big game, and it was incredible. Like, wow, like just what a once in a lifetime experience. And it was just like, I don't know, it was so surreal to be there finally and to just be in these seats. It was really, truly awesome. So just want to thank Ulta and OLIPOP and my team for just like working so well together to bring this all to life. And then that was basically it. We drove back home to the hotel, and we stopped at In-N-Out, and that's where I said goodbye to the ladies, and the team got In-N-Out with them, and then they went back to the hotel in Sonoma before leaving the next day. So we had such a jam-packed like weekend. Oh my gosh, but it was so fun and worth it. I think we were all like exhausted, but in the best way possible, just like living every moment type of thing. And yeah, just like honestly, like the best experience, and just so thrilled that we can bring that experience to our customers because you really deserve that. And it's more like I've always said about brand trips, it's not about just the 8 people that get to experience it. It's about what it means for everybody else, and for everybody else to see these people that are so deserving get to experience something. I know that like there's people that just are so happy for them, right? That are just cheering them on as we are posting our content. They're just excited for the 8 customers. And it's just so amazing. And that's a community we want to build. And that's the message that we want to send, that our customers are everything to us. Our community and real community building is everything. And it was actually really fun for me to hear that like ahead of the trip, the group of 8 customers, they had already been chatting with each other on a group chat. So they were really familiar with each other, which is awesome. We are, of course, already working on the rest of our calendar and executing that. But we also at the same time are just like, we needed a little bit of like a breather after the past 6 weeks to just regroup as a team, see what worked, what didn't, how we would change things, how we would make things even better, what type of experiences we want to offer. So a lot more to come from us, but just had truly the best time in Sonoma. And it was really like a once in a lifetime experience. So just really, really happy that we were able to pull it off and hold the secrets for so long. The last thing I wanted to talk about today was I wanted to shout out Danielle. And Danielle is she was actually our producer and director of our the campaign that we shot around the OLIPOP lip balm. So if you saw that one video that we posted where like we teased that there was a big celeb that we are working with for the first time, that whole video was directed by Danielle. And Danielle is actually somebody who came with us to Miami to our customer brand trip. She's one of our best customers and just like obsessed with her. And she told me in Miami that she does commercials. I specifically remember exactly where we had this conversation. I was like, oh, interesting. Well, we don't really do like commercials, but like if we ever do something like that, like I'm clocking that and I'm keeping that mental note. So then when we realized that we wanted to do this, last year, I was like, okay, we have to reach out to Danielle because how cool would it be to actually work with her? This is what she does. She's an expert at like creating commercials. Like let's actually work with her. So we executed this with her and her team. It was like such an amazing, fun day in production, and the result was amazing and we loved it and it came out so well. I want to thank all the community members who were featured in that video because you all crushed it. You're beautiful. It was so, so gorgeous. So happy that you were able to be part of that video. That was very much like, it's going to be like a serious big moment for us that we'll always have. So really want to thank Danielle, all the models and the community members that were there supporting us, and everybody else that was like, I don't know, there was at one point that felt like there was like 25 people there on set, including our team and Danielle's team and the community members. So just want to thank every single person who was involved in that, because that was also a really, really big piece of work and a big part of our overall like collaboration campaign. The last thing I want to say is just thank you to Ulta, because we had this conversation has been in the making since May. Pretty much as soon as we knew we were doing this OLIPOP, we had started to have discussions with Ulta, and it's like takes a lot of work to execute something like this of this size and magnitude. And we had never done something like this. So there's a lot of big, huge companies that do stuff like this all the time. And we never did. We've never done a front of store display at Ulta. Like we had a lot to learn, and Katie on our team like absolutely crushed it, leading us through. She's the one who manages Ulta. And she absolutely crushed, like just like leading us through this entire process with Ulta. And Ulta really supported us. You know, the lip balms are in so many different places in the store. They were so down for it to live for a year. They were so down to be involved in so much of like the trip planning and stuff like that. It's just really amazing. And we could not be more thankful for their partnership for this overall collaboration. So, oh my gosh, lots going on. I wanted to just come on here to just chat and fill you in and catch up a little bit, and just do a little solo podcast on everything that's been going on and some of the behind the scenes things, because wow, I haven't even had a chance to like process it and breathe and just like, wow, live it a little bit. But I think that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, I just want to thank all of you for being so amazing. Community really is more than ever, like truly the center of everything that we do. It's so clear who we are and what type of brand we are, what type of products we want to put out there. So really just thank you for providing that constant clarity to us. That's all I have. I'll see you next time.